We are live. Transit Sports TV back again. We are back to the studio with the regular Musketeers. I'm not back to the studio. Gomez here, man like Ify, as usual, is ready to do his thing. Guys, you are welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us. Thank you for.
Yeah, pleasure being here as usual.
Yes. We are here. Let's touch base with our fans out there to see who is in the house. Is John there as usual? What's his name? Okay, they're not there yet. Oh, Femino. I know if you miss this show, then something is wrong somewhere. If I don't see you on this show, wow. Ugum, I don't know if you're feeling what I'm feeling. This is ridiculous. Football is crazy. We're supposed to be starting this show with from the Friday games, but we're going to start with Liverpool and Newcastle. The game just finished right now. What a game. I don't even know. Can't find words to describe this one today. Let me give you guys a chance. I don't know if you have made sense of it already. For me, I'm still trying to put it in words. Arnold, how did you see that game?
It was an entertaining game. It was what you call a classic game. It had goals, it has red cards, it had pretty much everything. The Isak derby, if you will. It was a pretty good game. First half, it was you could kind of see why Newcastle need a striker like Isak because there was time after time in the first half where they were creating chances and putting the balls into the box where if Isak was there or a striker, somebody who can put the ball in the back of the net, they would have been up maybe one by what they would have at least scored one goal. And then obviously the red card came from what's his name? Gordon, and that kind of threw off Newcastle's game. And by then, Liverpool had already been up, but it wasn't really deserved. It was kind of like a kick in the teeth. And then the second half starts, and then Liverpool score again, which was another kick in the teeth to Newcastle. But even after that goal, Newcastle held their own. They got they got two goals from set pieces, as you will, and they were looking like they were going to win this game. As you can see, from where I saw, there was 10 shots to Newcastle, 5 to Liverpool, 4 on target, four. There were 4 big chances, and Newcastle couldn't capitalize on those big chances, and it was just down to taking chances and creating something out of nothing, which was what won Liverpool at the end of the game.
Yes, I cannot agree with you anymore. Ugum, what's your take as an Arsenal fan? I know right now you are not you're not a happy man with the outcome of that game.
Well, it was simply impressive, incredible. This is football at its best, and we know EPL will always serve up this kind of game, and it's for the average football fan to enjoy. Yeah. Yes, being an Arsenal fan, I'm not exactly delighted with the outcome, but really I'm not too bothered, especially as I dislike Newcastle in equal measure as I dislike Liverpool. So it's all good. It is what it is. So what I find quite stunning is the composure with which Liverpool scored that winning goal, especially Szoboszlai. The way that Szoboszlai skipped over that ball and the composure with which the 16-year-old Gumoha slotted that ball in was just amazing. This is football at its best. Wonderful game.
Malakifi, let me touch base with you right quick before we start to now break it down. I have a few talking points I picked up in that game for us to talk about.
Hey, you see, I hear the sadness in Odu. But the truth is this. The truth is this. You always football is an incredible sport, you know. Remember what they say, it's not over until it's over. And I mean for Liverpool fans right now, they'll be over the moon, they'll be delighted. I've said it before. I think Liverpool will struggle truly because they lost Lucho to Bayern. But if you look at their gaffer, he's been able to inculcate. I don't know. There's something. I think there's something about him though, because he always brings up some surprises that were shocked. Who would have believed that Soboslai will be playing right back? You know, that was shocking to me when I saw the lineup. And secondly, you know, with the team, yeah, at the minute they're not playing. They're not playing like the Liverpool of last season towards the end of last season where they were dominating teams. Newcastle came at them fiery, edgy. Um, should have scored a few goals if they had Ishak or a top tier striker in the beginning. You know, they struggled with some hit and miss chances. Gordon was decent. Barnes was decent, but the lack of a striker actually told on them first. I would say like maybe 20 minutes. And you know, football, if you don't take your chances, one chance from the opponent can really make your game, or it can break your game. And Liverpool had the opportunity with grabbing back, which they took. So when you look at it, do we say the better side deserve to win? I don't know. But if you look at the totality of the game, I think it was fair for Liverpool to win that game. Unfortunately, Newcastle they were their own architects to their own downfall. I have a problem with VAR, which have repeatedly stated on different forums, and that I'd like to see where the refs stick to their original decision. I understand the new rules and the studs challenge and all of that, but in that moment, yeah, it wasn't malicious. I'll be honest with you, I don't think it's a red card. I really don't. I really don't believe that's a red card, but the law states it's a red card. It's a red card. I would just really like the referees to stick when they go to review, stick on their decisions. I would like to see that this is, I haven't seen it, but regardless, when you look at it, credit to credit to Newcastle, they gave it their best. Bigger credit to Liverpool, they they took their chances as and when needed. So all is fair in love and war, I believe.
Yes, for me, as I hear you guys looking at the game like as it broke, like if you like you mentioned right there when the lineup came up, I was looking at okay, maybe Gravenberch will play from the right back. Then you was going to play Szoboszlai and Curtis Jones with who's the third person in the midfield. But when I saw Szoboszlai play on the right back, as a matter of fact, he's my man of the match because the kind of work that guy did today for Liverpool, I've always known he's a quality player, but playing that right back position today was way on another level,
Mm-hmm.
and he was consistent till the end of the game. He never dropped
Yes.
standards,
Mm-hmm.
the energy level, everything. And you know, these Newcastle players, anywhere they play, they know the kind of energy they come in with, and they're talking about when they're on the time side. So it was, for me, it was going to be a very difficult role for SummerSlam, but how he was able to contend when Elanga came there, when Anthony Gordon came, Harvey Barnes, it was really for me, I didn't know where he found that strength from, even with the pace and the pace of the game and everything. Yeah, of course, Van Dijk does what he really does. Then the referee, like you mentioned, there were so many questionable calls today, but sometimes it happens. Like Ekitike is supposed to have been booked in the first half. There was a free kick that was done against and he kicked the ball away. The referee ignored that. We have seen players sent out of games because of things like that. Then, like you mentioned, a man like Ify, for me, Newcastle, the only way they were going to get something out of this game, the way it was going, was through free kicks. And the first 20 minutes, they had loads of them and couldn't really make anything out of it in the beginning until the Liverpool started scoring and even went 2 goals ahead. But on the other perspective, Ekitike has shown that. I was looking at it as I was watching that game. I was like, oh, this is a pure EPL test for Ekitike and Vitz. But come on, boy, these guys came in today and, passed the test. Ekitike is Leto. That guy, I don't even know what Liverpool are looking for Isak for. Because sometimes there are some good additions you make into your team. Instead of making you better, it can at times, spoil your balance of play. So it's going to be interesting to see how Ancelotti is going to use these players when he eventually brings Isak. For me, Vitz has really started in very well in that 10 position. So if you're going to obstruct that, it's going to be interesting to find out how that's going to work. As a matter of fact, Florian Vitz for me right now is my favorite Liverpool player. That guy he just gets on with his business. And that takes me to another point I want to make about Liverpool today. Newcastle knew that they just had to ruffle Liverpool somehow to get a result in this game. And they did that and kept doing it. But the Liverpool players somehow stood up for the test, but at the same time, they were focused. They didn't let any off-ball incident to distract them. They were focused on the task. And somehow, like you mentioned, man like Ify, they are going home with the 3 points tonight. And if we really want to say football being fair, I don't think Liverpool deserve to win the game. They did enough to win it, but in terms of, if you say fairness, because the way Newcastle, 1 man down, came back from 2-0 to 2-2, then talking about fairness, that's where I believe they should have at least gone home with 1 point. But the game is come and gone, and we cannot replay the game anymore. The kudos to Anna Slot. Somehow, this is how Liverpool won this league last season. I'm worried that they're coming up, starting with the same way again this season, and most likely this is not going to go well with other teams in EPL. Let's touch base right quick with our viewers out there. Firmino is there. He say, come on for football. If they Newcastle are not taking their chances. Yeah, exactly. If you don't, that's what happens. Firmino was scratched with the stud, gave him 3 red marks on his leg. That Anthony Gordon, I understand what he is trying to say. If you look at that incident, you could see that Gordon really wasn't really going to hurt Van Dijk, and it looks like somehow his thought we are stuck on his way to make that interception. So coming from that perspective, like if you mentioned, that's where I also believe that the referees should have let that one go. But I mean, it's come and gone. There is nothing we can do right now. We will just let it go. Does anybody have anything to touch on that before we move to the next game? Ukum, anything to say?
Well, yeah, no, the EPL keeps living up to its billing. Wonderful game, like everybody else has said. Newcastle had opportunities to, salvage something in spite of being a 1 man down. But even when they had a full complement, they had opportunities to put the ball in the net, but they couldn't. So they suffered for it. Liverpool lived up to their billing as defending champions. Yeah, this is just the second week in the EPL, and we've seen enough drama to make up for the past 6 months that we've been waiting for EPL to start. So yeah, let's long may it continue.
Yes, let's go back to the way we planned the game, this show today, because this Liverpool game, we just had to get it out of the way. It was electric. I enjoyed it totally. Remember, this program will have our preview on Thursdays before the weekend, and today before the weekend, the preview of the game. Remember, we'll have our predictions, and at the end of that show, me and a man like Ife will had our predictions, and let's quickly run through those results before we start with the games of the weekend. First of all, West Ham, Chelsea, man, like if you said it was going to be Chelsea 2-1, and I said 2-2, and that game ended Chelsea winning 5-1. On that day, Arsenal leads ended in a 5-0 win for Arsenal. Man, like if you predicted 1-0, I predicted 3-1 for Arsenal. City Spurs ended Spurs 2-0 away from home, and if you predicted 3-1 for City, and I predicted 2-1 for City. Bournemouth beat Wolves at home 1-0. I predicted 3-1 win for Bournemouth. A man like if he said it was going to be a 2-2. Brentford versus Villa was 1-0 win for Villa. I said it was going to be 1-1, and man like if he said it was going to be 3-0 for Villa. Burnley beat Sunderland 2-0 at home. I predicted 2-1 win for Sunderland. Man like if he predicted 1-1. Crystal Palace beat Nottingham Forest 1-0. Oh, no, it ended a 1-1 draw. I predicted 2-1 for Crystal Palace. And man like if he predicted 2-1 for Nottingham Forest. Everton beat Brighton 2-0. The surprise result of the weekend, I predicted 2-2. Man like if he predicted 2-1 for Brighton. And Fulham United ended 1-1 yesterday. I predicted 2-1 for Fulham. And man like if he predicted 2-0 for United. So let's go to Chelsea. Chelsea was the first game of the weekend on Friday, man like if he there was a late withdrawal of Cole Palmer from that starting lineup, and Pedro, your boy, was slotted into the 10th position for Chelsea, where he got 1 goal and 1 assist. I don't know, what did you make of that game and Pedro playing as a 10 in that position?
Well, I think I think it was decent. This London derbies, you cannot really predict how it goes. It started off as a shocker because the Hammers took the lead in it, and the way it was going in the first few, I would say 10, 15 minutes, Chelsea were disjointed. It took a while. It took a while before they started showing their character and why we're the top club in London, in it. So I think yes, with the injury to be honest, I think the injury to Kopama was also a blessing in disguise because I've been skeptical about Kopama playing a 10. I don't really think that's his best position in Chelsea. I believe he coming from the flanks, particularly the right side of the field, is his best position. But when you look at it, you can't argue 5-1. That was demolition, destruction, annihilation. So we will always be excited. The performances that was put in by the team was a dominant performance against a tough London club. I understand West Ham are going through their ropes. With Potter in there, he hasn't really found his fitting or his footing in the team. The team are looking disjointed, but that's what happens. You only fight what's in front of you, and West Ham were in front of us, and we did what we're supposed to do. As
And on what,
usual, I
yeah,
still
and
believe
on what was
Chelsea's
key for you, man? Like if I hear you right there, what was
go
key
on.
for you for this Chelsea's win? Is it an exceptional Chelsea performance or just very poor West Ham?
I didn't get to watch the whole game because I went away, but I
I think
caught the first half. But from what I saw, it was more of Chelsea's quality with their players that they've bought with João Pedro Neto, and then their defense being as good as it is. Even though West Ham got that goal, I think that goal was all on Sanchez. Sanchez should have done better with tracking the ball. But other than that, it was mainly Chelsea's quality. I didn't West Ham after that goal, West Ham didn't really do much to Chelsea. Chelsea held them back, and just saw the win out, to be honest. The only mistake was the goal, and that was it.
Yeah, Osman, what was key for you in this game? How did Chelsea manage to do this? And I want to see you to highlight Caicedo, Cucurella, and Joao Pedro, the roles they are playing. Because for me, these are three very key players for Chelsea at the moment.
Yeah, I thought Chelsea played really well. Chelsea are a title chasing side, no doubt about that, because of not just the personnel that they have, the quality of the players they have, but the fact that the team has gelled. Yeah, from last season, going through the tournament they won over the break and coming into the season, you can see the understanding. You can see the players wanting to play with each other. You can see them having each other's back. You can see a bit of cohesion. You can see purpose. You can see confidence, even in the way they play and they interact on the field. So, the three players you mentioned are very key, very important players. Caicedo, um, has shown the quality why most of the biggest clubs wanted him when he was at Brighton. The way he covers every blade of grass, he's as good offensively as he is defensively. Um, he's still a bit rough on the edge with the way he tackles sometimes. That if he gets targeted by some of these referees, he could easily get cards. Apart from that, the guy is almost a monster of a footballer. He's been doing really well, and he's developing more and more as a leader. You can see that even without having the band, he is the glue that ties the whole team, and he leads with the way he comports himself on the field. With him there, and Cucurella again plays the same way, coming from defense. He is the attack dog. He is the aggressor. He charges, more even like a center back than a left back. He plays the way he goes after his man. He goes about after the danger man. He initiates attacks. Very, very, very solid footballer. And then talking about Yao Pedro, what a purchase, what a buy for Chelsea. Again, from that team Brighton. I noticed that player from Watford when he was at Watford, and even before then. I mean, he is a very, very good player, extremely skillful, very handy, not just he can play as a point man, as a forward. He puts the ball in the net, but he also has the guile and the intelligence to receive the ball with his back to goal, make decisions, open up stuff for his team. So you would start to wonder, is Cole Palmer, the dependence on Cole Palmer, the best for Chelsea? Or is it time to diversify? I mean, that may have taught Maresca one or two lessons as to how to deploy his team and how to build his team such that there's not an over-dependence on one player. Good game by Chelsea.
Yeah, I agree with you guys 100%. I've been shouting for a long time. Don't like if that Kopama for me is not good in that midfield for Chelsea because of his work rate, and he playing from the right side. He actually brings more to Chelsea than from playing from the wing. He has eye for goal. He can pick passes and can score goals. I can create from that side. I think he's running away from having to track back as a winger. That's why maybe he prefers to play from the midfield. And having said that, Chelsea, Joao Pedro, like you mentioned, and like I said, he's not a prolific goal scorer, but he's a terrific footballer. He can score goals and he can play as a 10. So if you really ask me, that structure that Chelsea played with that day actually probably would be their best way to set up with Palmer, even he gets fit, replacing Estavo on the right side of the wing. And I think that would be a very, very difficult setup for Chelsea, for opponents to handle. But we'll see how that happens. Another place that Chelsea needs to touch, probably they are lacking qualities, maybe defensively. And of course, the last man in the line of the defense, Sanchez, who always has what I call Sanchez moment. Can imagine that goal, like I cannot mention, if they were playing against a better quality team and they concede that kind of goal, it's all going to be difficult for you to get back into the game. And that could just derail all we are spoke about right now about Chelsea. So they might have to do something about Sanchez and maybe one or two additions defensively in that team, and that team will be ready to go. So finally, man like Ife, I know it's early days, but Chelsea, from what you have seen as a fan, do you think you guys are title contenders, are going to be in and around it this season?
Well, my heart will always wish that Chelsea will be a title contender always, but realistically, that's not. I don't think it's feasible this season.
This season.
A
This
number
season.
of factors. A number of factors really. One, the goalie. I don't know. Sometimes Sanchez is invincible, and other times Sanchez is invincible. So I really, I really don't, and I really don't understand why they're not. And This is actually perplexing for me too because everyone knows Sanchez is gaffe prone and all of that, and I don't understand why the management, the board, and the coach is not trying to address that. And sometimes take him out of the line of fire, put him on the bench, put the sub there, and maybe that might help build his confidence. Sometimes it's good some of these players experience the game from the bench and recalibrate,
The calibrate and come
recalculate,
back, yeah.
and
Yeah, I
refocus.
hear you. I hear you, man. Like if every club seems to have what they struggle with. Since after Peter Cech, Chelsea have struggled to actually have good goalkeepers. I don't know how.
No, that's wrong. That's
No,
wrong. We have Courtois.
Courtois didn't stay long. You guys lost. You remember, Courtois was sold to Real Madrid when before he even came to his prime. So
Kepa was also good in
nah,
the
come on
beginning.
now. If you tend to deny, but even Chelsea fans want Kepa to leave that place. He is a very
No,
good
no, I'm
shot
not
stopper
saying.
from far from range. He stops game, but you know that he has these Sanchez moments in him as well.
Yes, I'm not disputing that. But if you look at the goalkeepers in Chelsea going back as far as the Goy, Kudicini, they always have those they always have those moments before check, even check too. But the thing between that was then. Where now Mendy had his too, remember too, But
That's
the
what I'm saying.
thing
Since after Peter Cech, you guys have not really had a reliable goalkeeper that can, you can say
the
go
thing
to
that
with.
the thing that truly troubles me is the management and the coach not addressing it. You cannot you cannot be a top club, yeah, and you're gambling. We're talking 38 games, isn't it?
Yeah,
And you
it's
can't
cool. Let's move to the next game before we spend all our time on Chelsea. Quickly before we go to City Sports, which is our next game in line, let's touch base with our viewers. Firmino and John Ryder are very active. Chelsea, according to Firmino, has to play collectively and not actually hoping on players or building a team with one player. Okay, we just mentioned that. John says West Ham is not good from presently, so I can really rate Chelsea performance based on that victory until Chelsea meets a tougher opponent like Arsenal, Liverpool, City, or Spurs. John, West Ham, okay, I hear you. And I like your sincerity, man, like Ify. Like if you're getting your flowers out there, your fans are hailing you. So City lost at home to Spurs. If you remember, man, like if you during when we were doing our preview of the weekend, I mentioned it to you that the in EPL, every team has somebody that they always find they struggle against. Last 5 meetings before that game, Spurs had beaten City twice and City won twice as well. One of those wins was 4-0 at the Etihad by Spurs against City. So I always knew it was going to be a struggle for City, but I didn't see that 2-0 coming in any way. Somehow, begin first 5-10 minutes of that game, City looked like they are going to be something a force to reckon with going forward. With riders and co trying to do one or two things. But once Spurs settled into that game, it became very, very difficult. City didn't even show any sign of having an idea of how to break Spurs down, and eventually we got the result that we got. So yeah, Ugu, let me start with you on this one. What is really wrong with City? Last season we said injury, we said this, we said that, but it looks like it's exactly they are still where they were at the end of last season?
There's nothing wrong with them. It's a rebuild, clearly. They've bought a host of players. Looking at Tijani Reinders, he's been playing very well for AC Milan. Dutch guy, good player, mobile, skillful. They brought in Ryan Cherky from Lyon. They brought in, trying to remember all these players that they bought. Ed Norrie. Ed Norrie, remember, was playing for Wolves last season, and Wolves weren't exactly pulling up trees. He was a mobile left back, skillful, but he wasn't the best mate. He wasn't even in the top, let's say 6 or 7 left backs in the EPL. So, when you gather a bunch of players, the main selling point there is Pep Guardiola and what he has done as a manager and what we know he can do. But again, he can do that, but he will need time to be able to do that, and he will need the right personnel. You hardly ever see a club that has a generation, a collection of players that win multiple trophies, and they easily sweep those out and replace them with another set of winners. I don't remember hearing that. Even for countries, it happens. It's cyclical. So you have to, go through the bedding process again of rebuilding a team that will win at that level. Again, like we usually say, the EPL is a confidence league. Yeah, the more confident your opponents are against you, the more likely they will get something from you because they will come fighting, right? Because every team has good players. So that's the situation with City. They're going to need time to rebuild. Now, I am not sure whether Pep is up for it because his body language tells us someone that's tired, that could use a break. So
yeah,
let's see.
Okay, yeah. So Arnold, let me touch base with you right quick. Thomas Frank is one of the coaches in EPL that I really, really like. First of all, the way he carries himself and what Ugum always says, the body of work he puts in, you can see that he's a hardworking coach, and it reflects on the way his team steps out on the pitch. Last season, 2 seasons ago, we saw Postecoglou coming to Tottenham Hotspur, and they were flying. By October, people were saying they're going to be in title contention, and eventually they fizzled out. How do you think Thomas Frank can sustain this good start for him with life at the Tottenham Stadium?
Oh, one, he needs players. I know that the squad that they have now is good, but the depth they have attacking wise is not really inspiring. They have Richarlison, Solanke. Right now, James Madison's out injured. On the left hand side, they have Odebear and Tell and even Brennan Johnson, but it's not really inspiring. Obviously, they still have Kulusevski to come back to the right hand side, and then maybe they'll put Kudus to the left. But Odebear and Tell are not. I don't really rate them as wingers for them. They need signings, and they just need to beat the smaller teams and put in good performances against the big teams because I think they have the quality and defense and the midfield to help them carry through. The one thing that's different from Ange to Thomas Frank is Thomas Frank isn't always going to play the exact same way. Yes, you will have them attacking and defending in specific ways, but depending on the game state, he would tactically change something. He will probably bring in like what was it? He saw that Kudus. Like, I don't remember because it was like 3 days ago, but he saw some of the players were not really affecting the game as much. So he brought off Brennan Johnson. He took off Brennan Johnson and then brought in, I think it was Birdfell, and put him on the left hand side to maintain shape and then see the game out because City weren't really doing much till the end of the game, which weren't really creating much. But yeah, he just needs quality signings and he just needs time. And then he just needs to make top 5 because I think that fit spot is his.
Yeah, like if he between January this summer, City have brought in close to, I'm sure, at least 8 players. I know they signed about 2 or 3 defenders, goalkeeper, Cheki, brought in riders and all that. What else what should Pep do to get City back to what Ugun calls fear factor, the place where people have become scared again to to play against City, or is it just that? Is that it for him for now?
To be honest, Pep is done. Pep, Pep is done. The body language says a lot. His mind is not there. The players are feeling the energy. Pep's time is done. His era. I think the family issues he had, or off field issues he has, or he was having, has actually affected his. I don't think his mind is there. Let's even just call a spade a spade. I think he's just there trying to recuperate old glory. But if you watch that game, I was shocked. I was shocked first that they lost like that at home. They didn't offer nothing after the first 15 minutes. They didn't, as usual. Haaland goes missing when no one gives him the ball. The midfield, I didn't even see Bernardo Silva, the Reinders dude. Everyone is rating. I didn't see him. They were. It was lethargic the way they were playing, like at home. You can understand when you go away on the road,
Exactly.
but they were at home, and most of the time with the way Thomas Frank set up his team, they just outran them in the middle of the park. You know, the midfield was nowhere to be found. They were disjointed at every opportunity, at every moment. Like, it's like they didn't even want to be there. And you look at the coach, you're looking at the gaffer to come and flare up, motivate the team, push them, and he was there just scratching his head, like he's done. So the way I see it, yeah, I think right now you need to start watching out for Spurs. I think Spurs might be the dark horses this season. So I'm thinking Liverpool, Arsenal, Spurs, and maybe Chelsea. That's what I think. City may come back here and there, but I don't think they have what it takes to be as dominant as they were in the last 4 or 5
Few
years.
years.
Plus,
Yeah, yeah. For me, the biggest thing for me with City is, like you guys have mentioned, these players don't play with personality. They don't. You can see they're not playing to represent themselves first, talkless of the club. They don't look like they want to make an impact. Everybody just come in, chip in. Whatever happens, happens. We go home, and this is not the City that we knew before. Something is really wrong with that team, and everybody seems to come into City and not able to perform, just like what was happening to United for a long time now. So it's really going to be scary. In fact, and like you guys mentioned, even what's his name, Rodri. When Rodri came, I saw when he was going to come in, there was no fire in his eyes. I didn't see that eagerness to come in and affect the game in any way. Or for he just like routine sub for him just to come in, do what I can do, and get out again. And that's going to be for me a very difficult one for Pep, even if he wants to do anything. And lastly, like you mentioned, Spurs needs to be watched because of Thomas Frank. But like Arnold mentioned, their squad is not giving me any. If I'm a Spurs fan right now, looking at that team, yeah, I'm not going to have any inspiration because there's only much a coach can do. The quality of your bench or the quality of your depth of your squad really helps you to advance because this EPL players are going to get injured. They're already getting injured in 2 games into the season. A lot of players are getting injured already. So you need to have that quality in your depth to be able to that you can call upon when these incidents happen. So obviously, yes, on 11 to 11, Spurs have the quality with their coach to go toe to toe with anybody. But after that, you're not really sure what you're going to get. Arsenal at home, first home game of the season, ramped Leeds 5-0. First 20 minutes of that game looked like it was going to be one of those days for Arsenal. There wasn't really much in terms of creating chances. They had a few of them, but that was not very clear cut. And the game went on. Eventually, as usual, set piece again. They got their goal from the most unlikely player on the pitch, during Timber, slid that in. And after that, the game, shaped up the way we thought it was going to be. So, Ubum, was it an exceptional Arsenal performance or just Leeds were not equal to the task on the day?
It wasn't an exceptional performance. I think
Hallelujah. He talked true.
yeah, it wasn't, and I don't think Leeds played that badly. They are a side that just came up from the championship. And you know, when they come to the EPL, though they have had experience in the last 5 years or so playing in the EPL, it's still not the same. It's a different level of intensity, different level of technical ability, different level of organization and all that. So for the first 20 or 30 minutes or so, they matched energy for energy, vigor for vigor, especially after winning their first game, remember, against an established side in the EPL in Everton. So they had that confidence, and so they came with that initial, what Nigerians would call gra gra, before Arsenal kind of figured things out, settled down a bit, and things started working out. Now, the thing that really helped Arsenal was set pieces. Set pieces. Last season, they said that the best striker Arsenal had last season was set piece, and we started again this season in the same way. Set piece helped them get that corner goal from Timber. And once they scored that first goal, the initial nerves kind of started wearing off, and things started opening up. And then also things were not working per se for Odegaard. In terms of finding the right spaces, making the right passes forward. So when he was removed, when he left because of injury, and they brought in Waneri. Waneri, of course, is more of a midfielder that always on the front foot, doesn't really pass it around that much, is a bit more direct than Odegaard. I think that also helped. So, yeah, not an exceptional performance by Arsenal, but exceptional in front of goal because they took their chances for once, which is what the team needs to take their chances and score goals, and it happened for them. So for me, it's a credit to them that it wasn't exceptional, but the goal scoring was exceptional. So hopefully, when performance becomes exceptional, match it with goal scoring that's exceptional, and then goals will flow.
Yeah, I know. Let me touch base with you right quick. Did you see anything that makes you feel that Victor Gyökeres is going to be a success? I mean, he got his 2 goals. First goal, good one. It's almost what I would call a signature goal of Gyökeres. You remember 2 weeks ago, I think I mentioned it. If you allow him to isolate a defender in that corner, he always going to find a space to slot it in. The second one was a penalty. Do you in any way, from what you saw that day, do you think Gyökeres is going to be, do you feel is going to be a success in Arsenal?
Yeah, I've always thought if we get in a striker, even if it wasn't Gyökeres, he would do well because we always create those types of chances, especially from Saka's side. So, and with the fact that Miko Marino, who's not really a nine, who's a midfielder, and an eight, was playing in that same position and was able to score the amount of goals he was able to score, just proved to me that it doesn't matter who the striker is. He just needs to be there, and he will. A natural striker just needs to be there. He will be able to score those goals. And yeah, I saw things from Gyökeres where it showed that he would work out. I always believed he would work out, and regardless. But the way he took his goal, the way he made space for himself, the run that he made, and the finish obviously showed. We don't usually get players like that who we don't really get players like that who are able to just take it on and shoot. Usually, if it's Jesus or Havertz who's in that position, Havertz would probably go back and rebuild again, or Jesus would probably lay it off or take an extra touch and then get blocked out. But Gyökeres, he said, no, I'll shoot. I'm going to shoot, and he did what he did. So yeah, the only issue I have really is that we're not creating the amount of chances that we usually do last season. And I think it's just down to familiarity, and it will take time. But I think as the season progresses, they'll both the players and the Gyökeres will get used to each other. And he'll take off.
Yeah, like if you as a rival fan, what's your biggest take out of that fixture?
I mean, it's Leeds. You guys were going to always do numbers on them. You know, I really wasn't too impressed. Obviously, we knew Gyökeres was going to score at some point. You know, he took his goal well though. You have to credit that. You know, following his absence in the first game. You know, sometimes it's always good for players to start running. You know, doing what they do well, banging goals. It builds their confidence. It gives them that excitement. It gives them that edge to want to go again. So I think it's good for him. I think it's good for you lot. I can't even lie about that one, you know. But obviously you lot have got some bad players out injured now, and unfortunately there's another problem in Arsenal, Eze. So I think the Gunners should be buzzing right now. They should really be buzzing, you know. They've got a stable team, they've got a balanced team. The good thing about it is this: we'll see humans on Saturday against Liverpool. And believe I believe Liverpool is home. You know, so that might be a good test for the Arsenal. You know, but looking at it in general against Leeds, I wouldn't really be too excited. You know, Leeds just came back, came up from the championship,
Yes,
innit?
sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And you're supposed to you're supposed to do the numbers on Leeds anyways. If it was one of them ones that Leeds were beating humans, then it'll be big news. But Arsenal beating Leeds 5-1 or 5-0 or whatever humans had the result. It's good. Your KRS had 2 goals. It's good too. You know, I see players chipping in, doing work. But when you watch the game, they were not even really that fantastic, you know, like I don't know about that one.
Okay, let's take
It's a hit or miss.
some
It's a
chance
hit.
from our viewers out there. Firmino City are yet to replace Kevin De Bruyne. Of course, it's going to be difficult to find out quality again out there. I was thinking, from what I saw in the first week, that Riders was going to try to step up to that plate, where it looks like he has some adaptation to do. And what's his name? Foden is not even helping matters. Firmino also said, "Dude, City is City himself." Okay. John says, "I don't see anything wrong with City. Like you rightly said there, is that one club that is always giving a stronger team a headache. Newcastle almost did it with Liverpool today, except for the booking." Okay, we'll see. But I believe City have had these issues from the beginning since last season. And Firmino says, "So you think to replace a player that helps the team in all ramification is easy?" Obviously, it's not. Let's get down to innovator of Africa. He said Arsenal should not be overlooked. If Firmino is laughing at you from what you say. Yeah, to round up with Arsenal game, there's something that what I've picked up from Arsenal this season, it's something I've been shouting about for a few seasons now, is the slow in transition. The way Arsenal builds up the transition is too slow, and they feel that when they want to score, they eventually score. And that sometimes makes it easy for teams to have their well-structured low blocks and probably sometimes double up on Saka, which make it difficult for them to score goals. But this season, I've seen with the impact of Zubimendi, Arsenal is a little bit quicker in getting the ball up the pitch compared to
And you have
last
seen that
season.
and you have seen that in 2 games. This
No, no,
Arsenal
no,
fan,
no,
man.
no. I was saying it from preseason. If you will see it, if you pay attention to a team when their coach adjusts something, you should be able to notice whether it's working or not working. That's not what I'm saying. I see that
Oh,
intention.
don't worry.
I see
Don't worry.
that. I
The
see
true
that
test will come on
it
Saturday.
doesn't mean it will work. It's working. I can see it that they are eager to get the ball quicker to the opponent's half, unlike before. It's a team I've followed all my life, so I know I can. When things change, I observe it. So that's the only thing I have seen so far. But they still have a lot of this thing to do, adaptation. The Gokares is still not very well used. The only reason why he scored that goal was because Califiori was ready to do that one first time pass to him before when he had Kai Havertz playing that position. No Arsenal player will play that ball. they will keep that ball rebuild. As I kind of said, they will go back and rebuild again and rebuild again. But now you can see they are trying to put the ball behind the defense. Whether they successful or not is another thing to talk about. But for now, you can see that intention, and maybe with time they perfect on it. So yeah, that's the only thing I've seen so far that has changed in that team a little bit, and it's because of Zubimendi. He has been doing it all the way from the pre-season. Another very crucial game or game that caught my attention this weekend was Manchester United going away to Fulham, and that game ended in a 1-1 draw. And we know there was a few incidents involving both the referee, Bruno, and this morning, I woke up this morning, a lot of Manchester United fans are already calling for the head of Amorim. I don't know where to go with that one. The season is still very young. I know they had these issues last week, and statistics I imagine that Amorim has played 27 league games and have only won 7 for a team like Manchester United. That's very, very poor. And I think it's about 7 draws as well. Lost almost 17 or whatever. I don't know. I can't remember now the numbers. So the numbers are not looking good in favor of Amorim. I don't know. Ugun, what did you make of that Fulham game?
Well, I can understand the frustrations of Manchester United fans. I thought United started the game well, good intensity, a bit of organization. But of course, Fulham are a side to be taken seriously any day, anytime in the EPL, especially in the last 2 seasons. They've got a first 11 that can match any team on any given day. They've been able to match all the top teams on any given day and given them strong games. And so whoever was expecting United to run over Fulham must have been delusional. Those kind of games, you take your chances and you hope it's a good day for you. You beat that side, get it out of the way, and move on. So, but after United went ahead, after they got a very, for me, a dodgy penalty, but it's neither here nor there. That's all you get with VAR that Bruno missed. And then they were able to get that first goal. Again, a dodgy goal because there was a clear foul to that goal prior to that goal being scored, but it stood. Now, I think that United should have reorganized right after scoring that goal and protected that lead. Not withdrawing, but getting the right personnel on the field to protect the lead. Of course, they didn't do that. Allowed Newcastle, allowed the Fulham to play. If you listen to interviews that the Fulham players gave after the game and their coach, they clearly stated what they felt were the weaknesses of United that they took advantage of. Right? They said they had to suck their defenders in, get them to come in to try to support the midfield, and doing that they left gaps that they tried to take advantage of and run into. So yeah, for Amorim, I'm not a United fan. I don't want to interfere in all their stuff, but I haven't seen anything from Amorim. It's still the same thing. You watch the games and you're like, okay, what is this coach trying to do? How is the team playing to justify the major hope that we're hearing from United fans that they are back and they are ready to move, even with the signings? The coach really needs to set the team up in such a way that they can be more positive. They can hold on to the ball for certain phases of play. They can string 10, 15 passes together, and you know that this is a formidable top EPL club or EPL team. Kobe Mainu is a question that's been on my mind for quite a bit now.
To him.
Yeah, and then I asked a question the other day about the plan B. For me, plan B for the coach still is seeing Maguire come in. Now he has added Heaven to it. Those two guys, bring them in, pump long balls to them to help score goals. If that's the plan B, well, so be it. We identify it as the plan B. It's still a plan B. Hopefully it works for him, but yeah, it leaves a lot to be desired.
Okay, before we go on, features from our chat room, John said Liverpool will defeat Arsenal in the upcoming game, particularly because of Saka's injury right now. Firmino, you said that formation Amorim plays along Doku Ahmad is as wing back won't work. Choma says United banter, sign me up. Oh, Amorim, the most funny coach ever, according to John. Bruno said he missed the penalty because the ref's distraction. No be juju be that. Yeah,
I
I hear you there, you guys on our chat room. One of the things, if you I don't know how you look at this one, you and Arnold, I have an issue with, I believe Ahmad and Mbemo are the same type of players. I don't see the idea behind playing Ahmad as a wing back and Mbemo in front of him. It's okay to have quality in your bench. If you want to start Mbemo as your first choice in that front right side, you can put Ahmad in the bench. It is an ongoing right. You bring Ahmad in. I don't think if starting both of them on that side of the pitch, I don't think it does us United any good. And by the time things get tough, you now bring in what's the Dalo to come and defend or to find goal. I don't understand. Like Ugo mentioned, you need goals. You're bringing head in and you're bringing Dalo, and at the same time bringing in what's his name, Maguire. So it's a little bit confusing with Amorim right there. But then another thing, if you don't know how you feel about this one, or I know, any of you can take up this point. Shesko was bought to be United's main striker, and I know it's possible it's not 100%, but that your front line is almost a new setup. Why not just starting with this player so that they start to understand themselves early enough? If he gets out in 65th minute, you can take him off and bring somebody else. But leaving him on the bench and making it 30 minutes end of the game when things are already tough, I don't know if it does him any good. I don't know what
my
you guys think about it, but for me, I don't think it's a good
my
idea to put him on the bench.
my favorite one of my favorite top philosophers once said, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. At what point does Amorim abandon that free, whatever he's doing, free
Yeah,
4, free 5-2? It's not working. Like, I don't, you see, I understand coaches having an
an idea
identity,
of philosophy.
yeah, identity, their own strategy of how they play. If you look at if you look at Conte when he first came to Chelsea, he started playing four at the back, and when it didn't work, he switched to three, and that's when Chelsea were dominant and all of that. But if you also look at top coaches gone by, you look at Fergie, you look at Wenger, you look at Ancelotti, Mourinho, you look at Pep, Marcelo Lippi, Del Bosque, even recently Jurgen Klopp. They all have their preferred pattern styles of play. But when things are not working, you always notice that they try to tinker with the squad, they try to change personnel. Some games they change formation, you know. But you see that one in United. You're watching him, you have Mano on the bench, you know. You have Mano on the bench, you have BS, Benjamin Sesko on the bench, you have firepower on the bench. Why not switch it to a 4-3-3 and go at these people? Yeah, you're playing Fulham, you taking the lead, and if you watch the game, they were missing after the first 10 minutes. Yeah. Aside Mason Mount and Cunha, Mbuemo didn't do nothing in that game.
Yeah, and he played, I think he played almost 90 minutes.
He played the full 90. He never did nothing in that game. Yeah. Some games will always be like that, you understand? No problem.
Exactly,
But
yeah.
when you
Some
look at
people,
your options, yeah. First of all, I think Bruno talking that garbage about the referee
distracting him and stuff.
intercepting or interrupting his penalty procedure. I think that's rubbish, man. Just take your L and move on. That was a horrible miss. there's no chance that he should even come out and say that rubbish. He's not talking to the young guys. I think he should be taking off penalty duties because my man misses a lot. My man misses a lot for United. Go check the statistics. I think ever since he came to United, he's missed more penalties than anybody else in that same frame. So that aside, anyone can miss penalty, no doubt. But when you look at the identity of the team, there's no structure, there's no creativity in that team. They're not even barring that chance with Cunha that hit the post. What other chances did they have in the whole of that first half? Nothing.
Nothing, yeah, yeah. And the referee will even did them some favors. I don't know. What's your biggest take on United right now? What was your how did you watch the game? What did you see? Because it looked like at some point Fulham was running riot on United. United players kind of disappeared, and this is something that this team has been known for now. You know you're not going to get the same energy 90 minutes with United anytime, any day. And at some point, Fulham took over and just United could not have a foothold on the game anymore.
There was a few issues. One is the midfield. I think he needs to stop putting Bruno Fernandes at the number 8. It's not his position. He doesn't have the legs or the explosiveness to be going up and down and being a holding midfielder. That position should either be Ugarte and Menu or Casemiro and Menu, and then you can bring out Ugarte in the last minutes to help make sure that the defense is tight and everything. Because the same, even when we played Arsenal, even when they played Arsenal, even though Arsenal weren't playing up to their levels, there was still times where Odegaard was receiving the ball countless times in that midfield, and that's an issue. Most teams play with their midfield. With United, it just feels like they're not even using the midfielders that they have. They'd rather just pass, play it back, and then move side to side. Like they don't like the goal that they conceded. I think it was either Delict or Shaw who attempted a crossfield pass to Dallo, and Dallo lost the ball, and then that's how Fulham scored. If they played through their midfield, I think most chances like that would be avoided, and then opposition bypassing the midfield. I think that's one of their main issues. Another thing is their goalkeeper, and I don't think Binder had a bad game necessarily, but he gives the opposition fans confidence whenever the opposition gets corners because they're most susceptible to corners with Binder goal. Even if it's not Binder, Onana in goal is also gives opposition fans the exact same feeling that if you continue getting corners, at least one of them will go in, which is what happened last week against Arsenal. One mistake from the goalkeeper and boom, game's done. Nothing else. And yeah, I think that's it. They need to stop putting. Let's need to start using Menu more and put Fernandez if he said when we saw that Mboma wasn't affecting the game anymore. That's his time to start bringing in maybe what's his name, Ahmad in from the bench, or you shift Ahmad to the right wing position, take him off, and then bring in Dallo, or you put Fernandez up there and then you take him off and bring in Ugarte. But no, he takes off. Yeah, and then another thing, they also have Xerxes, and I know Xerxes isn't up to standard, but they have Xerxes. You can also use him. I think he's a good player who can help link up play with the likes of Mbomo and Cunha. And although he's not like as fast, his link up play is one of the things that carries him. So I think he has options. He's just choosing not to use it, and I don't know why.
Yeah, well, another thing is, I think United, another thing that's been problem with them is they just sign players for the sake of signing. I don't think they sign players with a plan of the way they want to build the team. Like you just mentioned, most of these players that are signing, they already have players who can do what those players are bringing in. So obviously, and you begin to wonder what, like in Mbemo is just a bigger size of Ahmad. I don't really see any difference between the way Mbemo plays and Ahmad. And Ahmad, being a home goal, even has more confidence and more impact in games. So going to spend that money for Mbemo, I didn't know what it was about. Then Cunha, is almost the same thing as Bruno, almost in the same role. So I don't know what they brought Cunha for. Like Arnold just mentioned right there, Zeski is a player that is technically gifted. He can link up play very, very well. He might not have the pace to stretch out defenses. Okay, you already have you bring in Shesko to do that role for you. Then Zeski can play behind Shesko. So all these signings that United are doing, I don't really know if they are really, really well thought out, or they just sign players for the sake of signing players. And when you want to build a team, you need to decide what part of the team you want to start to build from. And most of the time, like if you mentioned, every coach that I know that got into any team that is really struggling, conceding goals, can't win games, they always start from the defense to build their team. Amorim comes into United. I don't know where he's building from. Okay, from this summer, he's building from attack. How can you build from attack when your defense is not strong? Your defensive midfield is a problem. They brought in Ugarte last summer. Ugarte, I was watching him yesterday. He couldn't even make a 2-meter pass correct. He couldn't complete a pass that was just in front of him. It's very, very bad, terrible when it comes to technicality. He can only break play, and that's about it. Then Casemiro, who is your most reliable midfielder right now, doesn't have that ability to get around the pitch as much as you need it. And this is a wide open midfield. So it's really a disjointed setup right there in United. And Amorim is, like people say, he says the right things, but when it comes to really acting on them, you begin to scratch your head what he is trying to achieve with the things that he's doing. Let's take some views from our viewers before we round up. Choma says, yes, Choma right there. Amorim says that he's giving him time to adapt. Shesko, nah, that's, I mean, what are you giving him time to? Is he going to adapt on the bench? He adapts on the pitch by playing with his teammates. Amorim wants to create his own history like Pep. Okay, we're waiting for the history. John says you need goals and you're bringing in defenders. Amorim is an entertainer. Firmino, Lord, ref distraction made a professional player to hit penalty to Pluto. John, Bruno, best in giving excuses. Winner, excuse the. Newcastle needs to reconcile with Isak. They missed that guy today. No proper striker to convert all their chances created. And Firmino says Manchester United always signs because others do not do, not minding if it is the right players. Exactly. I agree with you there, Firmino. You know, United are just signing players for the sake of signing, and each time they bring players, it causes more confusion than doing them good in that squad. And Kobe Meno, I'm not saying he's a superstar, but I know when that guy broke in, if people that watch this channel, I made the video and I said, if United know they're not going to provide a platform for this young man to flourish, they should let teams that can do that for him sign him now before they destroy his career, like they destroy a lot of them. And that is exactly what we are seeing. And there's no sign. There are rumors this morning that he's going to leave. I hope he does, because staying in that team is not going to do his talent any good. Before we round up, if he Arnold, what was the result this weekend that really surprised you?
There's only one. That's Spurs Man City.
Results now regarding the Big Six would be the Aston Villa loss from, I think it was Brentford.
Yeah,
It surprised me. I thought they would have at least been able to leave there with something, but Brentford scored one goal and that was pretty much it. Although I didn't watch the game, so I don't have full type of breakdown. But from outside perspective, that's a game that Aston Villa should be winning. But regarding the fact that Brentford's manager left, and some of their key players as well has also left, so that was really shocking and surprising to see.
okay, I agree with you guys for the Brentford Villa one. And will I say I was really surprised? No, I've been saying it for a very long time. People say I'm being a hater. Unai Emery is not a coach I believe is meant for league. He can't coach a team week in, week out. The tournament, cup competitions, yes, but you see this everyday setup teams against teams that know you week in, week out in the league. He struggles. Even in PSG, that we are dominating French league. When he went there, he had his issues with the league. So yeah, I'm not going to say I was surprised, but it's a very unfortunate loss, right? That the one that really surprised me was Everton Brighton. Everton Brighton, I don't know if I expected Brighton to win, but to lose 2-0 to Everton, for me, was a very, very massive result for Everton. Though David Moyes has been coming up with these big wins and draws since he took over at Everton, and I hope that I wish them well as long as it's not against Arsenal. It looks like he has got that team playing how he wants them to play, and I think that's about it. Yes, we're gonna have our preview, guys. John, of Africa, Choma, Firmino, you guys always joining this show. Thank you for being active in the chat room. We'll be back here on Thursday to do our preview for the coming weekend. Ugum, you're back. What's your closing? Did you have any games or any results that really surprised you this last weekend before we close? And what was your overall opinion about this round 2 of the EPL?
Well, I guess it's the main surprise was Tottenham for me, but not essentially that surprising. It's just the nature of the win. The fact that they beat City, they've beaten City quite a few times before, but the nature, the dominance, and the fact that they didn't really sweat so much to beat City was a big surprise for me. Now, my summary would be that the EPL is truly back. There are hardly any boring games. Teams are more evenly matched than ever. Teams are investing in good players. Everton just signed Tyler Diblin from Southampton, making them a stronger side because that young man, he has a big future ahead of him. So let's look forward to more wonderful games.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're going to review the fixtures for coming up next weekend. Thursday, we are back here again doing what we love to do. You look at the fixtures, of course, out of my head right now, I know Liverpool is hosting Arsenal next weekend, and I think City are playing with Newcastle as well. So we're going to be reviewing those games on Thursday and make our predictions as usual. For this weekend, I got 2 results right, and man like Ify got 2 right as well. I almost nicked a winner with 2-2 Liverpool, but until that young man Rio came and spoiled my show. So yeah, we go again next week on Thursday, and we'll give you 3 games that you can predict. Don't forget that we have massive prizes for you guys. Make sure you take part in those predictions. We're going to have a lot of merchandise to give out this season, especially club jerseys for those who will get this prediction. So on Thursday, we'll give you 3 games that you can predict and have a chance to win on Transit Sports TV. Man, like if it's always good to have you here. There's really no much to banter about today. Hopefully, we'll have some on Thursday.
Right.
Always,
Yeah, obviously.
always good to have you. And thank you so much.
Obviously, humans are excited. Humans are excited with your carriers and Leeds. Don't worry, we'll back. Come on, man. There's 6 more games. We're going to banter from next week. I'm sure Liverpool is going to do humans numbers. So we'll stay tuned. Stay tuned.
Okay.
Don't forget, tell your fans to like, share, follow this channel. I'm Man Like Ify, one of the faces that run the place.
You guys, please, you've watched, if you enjoy, please share with your friends. And like Ugum always says, even with your enemies, let them enjoy what you are enjoying. Transit Sports TV, we're trying to build this community for you guys out there, for us to have our views. John, Firmino, our regulars, anytime you have time, you can as well come live on the show. Let us know, and we'll give you an opportunity to join us in analyzing these games and previewing it. Yeah, good to see you guys. And thank you so much, Ugum. Always a pleasure. Man like Ify, the man that banters, and we'll see you guys next time. Ciao.